Okay, this is the part I'm most nervous for. Hello, Happy New Year. It is it is January 3rd. I am actually in our basement right now, and that is because the coffee shop is closed for the first 2 weeks of January while we do some renovations. So I'm in the basement working on these really cool industrial pipe shelves that we're gonna put up for our merchandise and finally upgrade that to something really neat. So we went and bought the stuff this morning at Menards. We took the dog and we realized everything's kind of greasy. So now I'm gonna take the time to degrease them, and then we're going to put some matte black paint on them so they're a little more uniform and fancy. So to do this, I have some old rags. I have a piece of like old wood that we don't really use, like plywood. And then I have all of our pipes in all these bags and bottles of degreaser. This is fantastic. It's a multi-purpose disinfectant, but it removes grease. So I'm just gonna plug in a little podcast, audiobook, I haven't decided yet, and get to work on these. They look a lot better, that's for sure. They dry?
Yep.
Yeah, I like the matte black.
I mean, I'll probably just hit these again for good measure, but they really don't need it.
I mean, we could just flip them over and use
These
the other side.
Need it, yeah.
Today is the day, kind of, where we're gonna put the shelves together. We realized one of our pipes is too short, a couple inches too short, so we're gonna have to go back and get that. There's 3 different sections to the pipe stands that are gonna hold the shelves, and the middle one has one pipe that's too short. So we have to go get that, clean it again, and paint it, and then we can put everything together. But we still need to go get stain for the shelves, so it's not a huge deal. So in addition to adding some shelving for merchandise, we're also going to update our pastry case. I hate this pastry case. It's so ugly, it feels dirty. It came with the building because this was a bakery and this is what they used, and we tried to sell it, nobody wanted it. It's heavy as heck, so like we can't just we could pick it up and move it, we'd probably kill ourselves trying. So we're gonna take it apart and throw it away and build our own pastry case. 2 of coffee shop renovations during our little tiny break. It's January, I don't know, 4th. It's January 4th. It's a Saturday, and this is where we left off with the counter yesterday. We went to Menards, I didn't film it, and picked up the missing pipe pieces that we had and some stain for the countertop and the shelves. So let's see what we can get done today before we have to go to social living. And just like that, we have a countertop. So we just took a little break for lunch, and then he realized he needed another thing from Menards. So, you know, hitting that quota, daily trip to Menards. In the meantime, we have the board on top. We still need to put the baseboard, but we have to paint and stain and sand and all that good stuff. But it's starting to look like a real counter now, which is super exciting. Progress, but you can see this is the natural color of the butcher block versus after we stain it. And while he's doing that, I'm working on deep cleaning all of our equipment, like our big equipment, our ice machine, our grinder, our espresso machine. And then I need to like clean out fridges and clean some mats and flooring and all these other things that we try and do while we're open, but it's just a lot easier right now while we're closed to deep clean these things. It's nice. I also need to finish taking down the Christmas decorations and figure out storage for those. That's kind of been a struggle, and I've kind of been doing that on the fly, and maybe organize our office space a little bit more. Lots to do. So I've already done the ice machine, which is great. That's a big checklist item. I am in the middle of cleaning the grinder, so I'm gonna do that, and then probably the espresso machine. I'm gonna do a little grinder cleaner with these. Oh my gosh, I can't see it. They look like tiny little beans, but these are like a food safe cleaner that you just put through your grinder. You make sure everything gets out. They're called grinds. They're gluten-free and organic. Now I have to get it out of this chamber and make sure that's all clean. But this is one of the reasons why I hate this grinder, and I hate grinders that have this chamber. One, like, what is the point of the chamber? Because you want fresh ground coffee, you want fresh ground beans when you're making espresso, and in a coffee shop, like, it's just what you're gonna be doing, is the freshest grind as possible. So why do you need to save them in the chamber? Two, it's just super annoying to clean. And then I'm sure you're asking, like, well, why do we even have this grinder? Well, one, I did not choose this grinder. I was not really in the position that I am when we got this grinder, so I'm kind of stuck with it until we can upgrade. But we are getting really close to being able to upgrade to a much better grinder. I'm gonna give you a little update on this counter situation. It's starting to look more like these ones. Oh, okay, don't touch that. Like these ones. Obviously there's still a color difference, but that's because this one is older than this one. So like as this one ages, it'll hopefully catch up or always be a tiny bit off. But it's definitely starting to get more orangey over here. This is that orangey that the rest of the counter is. You know, when you look at it from a distance, it's not that bad, maybe, kind of. After like 3 attempts, 3 days, we're finally getting the shelves up. So we're gonna do 3 sections. We still need to, well, we're gonna put them in the wall, but we still need to do the boards. We still need to stain them. So we run into 2 issues with the shelves. One, we want to make it longer than we initially thought. So there's 3 of these pipes. Before we had them really scrunched and it didn't look good with how long this wall is. So we're going to make this longer. That means we have to take these boards back and get longer boards. It's a good thing we didn't stain them first. 2, the floor is unlevel. And that's part of why we wanted to have... And 2, the floor is unlevel, which is part of why we put the shelves into the wall, but they're still sitting on the floor right now. So now we think we're just gonna round the bottom like we do the top so that it sits into the wall so the floor isn't a problem. So we have solutions, but that just means we have to go back to Menards and buy more stuff and paint again and take these out of the wall and fix them. So we're a little delayed again on the shelves.
Okay, so that's the center of that one. That's our point of reference.
So we came up with a different solution. So because these pipes like screw into each other, we realized that we can screw them more and less to adjust the height without having to go to Menards again and buy more pieces and paint again and waste more time. So we're gonna try and piece them together by each like row as opposed to just putting the whole pipe in the wall. That does mean we're gonna have to fix some holes in the wall probably, but it should look level. Things shouldn't fall off of it. Oh cool, actually the holes will be hidden by the circular thing, so but this is taking a lot longer than we originally anticipated. It's a good thing that we are customizing it and didn't just buy something pre-built. Oh yeah.
Okay, so how tall do you want it? 2 feet? I think 2 feet would probably be good.
2 feet is here?
Yeah. That seems pretty good.
Hello, hello, it's another new day, and today we are finally going to work on the lights and sconces. We have random lights turned on, so the lighting isn't great. But this is like the back study room is what we call it. Also known as the lamp room, just because these overhead lights are terrible and obnoxious. So there used to be cabinets here. We knocked those out. We built this little study nook. A lot of remote workers like to come back here and work. Some like book groups, Bible studies will do that too. And then we have this light, this terrible, terrible light. And I think this is the switch for it. Yeah, right here is the switch for it. It does work. It's just really ugly light. It's really ugly to look at. So we got some cool little wall sconces that we're going to install. So we're gonna do some wiring work and put it like 1, 2, and then it'll like sit down over and be pretty. I also broke my nail yesterday. I got my nails done because the coffee shop's closed and we're still doing work, so it broke anyway. Nice. Moment of truth. Yay! They look so much better. I mean, we still gotta fix that strip in the wall, but sun is so bright. And it is another lovely day of coffee shop renovations. Oh, you can probably hear him in the background. He's already started sanding. He's working on these boards. Oh, let me point. He's working on these boards for the shelving. Ice machine back on and finish sweeping behind this fridge. Ice machine's going back on even though we're not opening again for almost a week now. Yeah, like another week. But I need to do a little photo shoot for when we reopen. We're gonna do like a Valentine's drink launch. And then I'll have to throw out the first batch or 2, maybe even 3 batches of ice that it makes after that deep clean. We've also spoken to the glass person that we're using. We do have to return some of the clamps that we were gonna use because this is gonna be encased in glass for pastry. We have to return those and get new ones, but we do have quotes for the glass. We think we know what thickness we're gonna get and all that stuff. So this should be done before we open again. We think we might need an extra day. I think that's what we're gonna post online, is that we said we would open on the 14th, and I think we actually need until the 15th. And now it is time for this is like a perfect Beauty and the Beast rose. This is the part I'm most nervous for, getting that cake on the cake stand.
Let's go, baby. Here we have the final product.